Okay, Christina, so here's your assignment. You've got your two contact sheets with 40 images, and you've got your technical information down at the bottom here. Best case scenario, you give me all three exposure settings and the millimeter focal length of the lens that you're using, but whatever you can fit is fine. It is best to prioritize your shutter speed and aperture because we can kind of guess the ISO. And I personally can guess the millimeter focal length you're using, but not everybody can, so you might want to include that. And then here's your two finals. And then here's your equipment shots. Okay, so I hate to say this, but I really had a difficult time deciphering your write-up. It just, a lot of it wasn't very clear to me, and then towards the end it seems that there's a bunch of things that got cut off. Like you say here, the first image that I chose for my best, I wanted to convey my model with a, and then it just ends, and then you say, I like this assignment, just think I overthink what it is that I am doing. So anyways, it just wasn't really clear. So make sure, I know you're tired and you've been working really hard, but make sure that you proofread your write-up, because this information in your write-up is really important to all of us because it helps us understand what you were doing exactly, and it helps us give you more technical and more thoughtful feedback. Because there's a lot of sentences here that I can't quite make out, so I don't really know what's going on. I'm so sorry. But I can tell a lot from your equipment shots, and thank you for giving us so many of them. The equipment shots are really, really helpful for me personally. And it looks like, and I remember from your posting in Problems and Solutions that you were struggling early on with your meter, but you started to get better results with it. Now, in the lecture, in the section called Light Ratio, there is some information about how to use your meter to create a light ratio reading, and then use those settings in your camera. But more importantly, I actually added an announcement about light ratios, and with a really, really clear step-by-step instructions on how to do it. And the guy doing it is using strobe lights, but the instructions are basically the same for using continuous lights. You just don't fire your lights. Basically, you just take incident readings in the same position and in the same way that he's saying to do it, and then you get exposure settings based on, you get at least two different sets of exposure settings based on two different intensities of light that you have on your subject, and then you prioritize for one or the other lights, or you compromise between the two sets of exposure settings, make some sort of compromise and shoot that way. But it's a really helpful video, and I think that it would help you a lot here. And I'm suggesting this because this is, of course, vastly underexposed. Now, I get it if you're trying to go for drama. However, it's just not bright enough. You know, it's just not. It's fine, you know, to have her falling off completely into black. That's fine, and you can achieve that with more illumination using flags and things like that to block light from where you don't want it to hit. But this is just too dark, and I can tell by your contact sheets that you had other exposures that were better. Frankly, I don't see that image in your contact sheets. Why don't I see that image in your contact sheets? Well, there's that one right there. I don't know. Why didn't that other one? Maybe am I just missing it? I don't know. No, it's not here. So make sure you get all your images into your contact sheets. You know, and also, as an aside, it's fine if your contact sheets have more images than were required. I'm really just picky about your finals. It's important that you edit yourself to the exact number of finals that we request. But if you have more than 40 images in your contact sheet, fine, I don't care. That's the more to look at, great. And you don't even need to give us exposure settings for all of them. Just give us exposure settings for 40 or whatever the required number is, whatever. But it's fine to include everything that you shot. That's totally fine to do. Because it also gives us a better idea of how hard you worked. Because if you were with this woman for 9 hours, clearly you shot more than 40 images. That, and she's got 3 different outfits on, you know, so there's a lot going on here. So this one's underexposed, and I'm assuming, and like I said, it's difficult for me to decipher your write-up, but I'm assuming this is the image. This is the image that you're talking about when you're referring to butterfly lighting, and then you rightfully thought that it would be a little bit more interesting if you moved your model and you know, got these interesting shadows, but we're shooting her from the side. And then this is broad lighting. Of course, we learned in the lecture as well. Broad lighting is when your model is turned at an angle, but it is the angle facing the camera that has most of the illumination. It has the key light on it. And then this is supposed to be flat lighting, It looks very much like, I'm assuming it's not, but it looks very much like on-camera flash to me, which you should not be using for this class. The reason I'm saying that is because of the nature of the light on her face, and we've got these bright white reflections on her face coming right back at us, which means that the light is coming from the same place as the camera, which means it's either on-camera flash or you're firing a strobe like right above you or right below you from wherever you're standing. That and these shadows are very much look like they're cast by an on-camera flash. So I don't know if your flash accidentally went off or what's going on here, but it's rough. This doesn't look like studio lighting to me. This looks like on-camera flash, not very thoughtful, just happened. This looks like studio lighting. A lot of these look like studio lighting. But it looks like, starting here, it really looks like your on-camera flash was firing. So let me know what was happening there. This looks like a really interesting image right here. And I would love to see a big one of that. That looks really, I love the hair light that you've got going on here. And she's doing some great poses for you throughout this. But yeah, down here, it just really looks like your flash started to go off, and they're not very flattering. So I'm surprised about which ones you chose. So yeah, this is our first time with our lights in our studio, so we're working hard, and it's going to take a lot of practice, and that's what you're going to get in this class. So definitely watch those movies about how to make light ratio readings, and watch them a few times, and practice it. Really practice it by yourself, and this will start to become a lot clearer to you. Okay, thank you, Christina.